What is up, everybody? So the Packers versus Saints game just ended. The Packers beat the Saints 20-10. So an overall good game for the Packers, and there are lots of many different things I want to talk about regarding this game. But if you guys are new here and you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, I put out Packers content every single day. So feel free to subscribe to the channel down below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And let's get into it. So first off, I want to talk about Jordan Love in this game. And honestly, I think that from where he was last week to this week, and if you sort of compare his performances, this week he looked much better than last week. I think there were lots of great plays he made last week, and I think he made lots of strides from where he was last year. But I think in this game, we really saw Jordan Love come in here, play very confident, stay calm, stay cool, stay collected in the pocket when people were swarming around him with the pressure in his face. He was able to stand there and deliver very accurate throws a majority of this game. And if we look at his box score, I think he was 12 of 24 for like 113 yards and 1 touchdown. And there were probably 4 or 5 different passes that were dropped by wide receivers. There was one he threw to Toure where Toure was reaching out, barely hits his hands, drops it. There was one to Amari Rodgers, 3rd and 5, I think it was the 3rd or 4th quarter. Amari Rodgers drops it. There was one to Doubs who dropped it. So there are lots of drops which would have, made Jordan Love's performance look even better when you look at like his stats. But I think just to see from where he was last year, like watching him in the Chiefs game, he just didn't look confident. He didn't look very in control of what was happening. He looked like he was sort of playing scared the entire game. And I think what we saw tonight is he looked confident playing there. He looked like he was in control of the offense. He was making adjustments at the line, and he did not look, afraid or nervous whatsoever. He looked like he was very in control and sort of knew what he was doing. And I think when we sort of look at just that difference between year 2 and year 3, it really stood out to me just how much he has developed and how much more in control of this offense he's basically in. We also saw a little bit of his scrambling ability tonight, moving on the run and making throws, which I think is an aspect of his game that once he really gets used to it is going to, if he ever has an opportunity here in Green Bay to start, is going to be a big aspect of his game. Not only to, make plays, throwing balls on the run, but also just his ability to scramble, run for, 10, 15 yards. He's a very talented, very athletic player. But overall, I thought it was a very good night from Jordan Love. There are a few throws he probably could, would have wanted back, but he threw no interceptions. And any ball that he threw, if it was off a little bit, he put it in a spot where only his receiver could go and get it. There were no balls where it was like that could have easily been intercepted. If there was a bad ball, it was like where a receiver almost had a shot at it, but it was a little, farther outside to where the defender is not going to make a play. So Jordan Love seems to be more accurate than he has been in the past to me personally. And if we look at his one touchdown pass, it was like I think it was like 5 or 6 yard line at the goal line. He throws it up to Romeo Doubs, who just jumps up and like mosses the guy, just jumps up, grabs the ball, does a Lambeau leap. And I mean, to see Romeo Doubs make a play like that as well in the red zone, I can just imagine with his ability to go up there and catch 50-50 balls that Aaron Rodgers is going to want to take advantage of that as well this year. So Romeo Doubs continues to amaze me every single game. But overall, I really liked what I saw tonight from Jordan Love. Honestly, looked a lot better than last week, even though I did like some things I saw last week as well. And then the next guy I want to talk about on offense is Tyler Goodson. There were a lot of really nice plays from Goodson. We saw it last week as well. His ability to cut back, to find the open lane. He has great vision, great speed, great cutback ability. He had 10 carries for 42 yards. And part of me is starting to think that he may win that final 3rd running back spot. There are a few plays in there where you're like, goodness gracious, that was a crazy run. So it's awesome to see him making plays there. Patrick Taylor, 8 rushes for 27 yards. And when we compare those two backs, Goodson is one of those quicker backs. He's not as powerful. He's not going to, plow over guys. He's going to juke and, use that speed, where Patrick Taylor, he can just run through you. So definitely different kinds of backs, but I think that Goodson, to me at least, looked tonight like the better back overall. Like if I had to pick a back tonight, I would have picked Tyler Goodson and sort of how he looked. Amari Rodgers did have some nice plays out there. He had 2 rushes for 15 yards. He had a couple nice catches as well. Let's see, he had 2 catches for 5 yards. He dropped one that I talked about earlier in the video. And Juwan Winfrey had a nice game, 3 receptions for 41 yards. And when they brought on Aaron Rodgers to talk about just everything, he mentioned Juwan Winfrey and how he's had a very good camp so far. So things are looking up for Juwan Winfrey when it comes to making one of these final roster spots. Last year, he really had an opportunity, but unfortunately for him, he was dealing with an injury at that point, so he didn't make the final roster. But I think that this year, he really has a shot to come in here and, potentially be one of these final wide receivers here in Green Bay. And then one player on offense who I was saying was struggling a little bit was Tyler Davis. He had one holding penalty on a nice Jordan Love play that was called back. He then catches the ball from Jordan Love and fumbles it. So Tyler Davis has struggled at times this training camp, and we'll see if he's still able to, finish off as one of the final tight ends. I'm not sure, considering he has been struggling. and making, having some, bad performances out there. But we'll see what happens there at the tight end position. And then now moving on to the defensive side of the ball. The first two guys who really stood out to me tonight were Chris Barnes as well as Isaiah McDuffie, two of our middle linebackers who are now backups with Quay Walker in there as well. But there is really no one who flies to the ball like Chris Barnes. He brings the heat, he comes in fast, he comes in hard, he knocks you down, he smacks you around. But Chris Barnes looks really, really good tonight, as well as Isaiah McDuffie, who is looking much better than he has last season, because I think last year there weren't really any plays that you're like, wow, this guy looks really good. But tonight, there were multiple plays where McDuffie just comes in, flies in, fills a hole, gets the ball carrier, gets the guy who received the ball very, very quickly. Two very solid backup linebackers now in Green Bay, which is definitely promising considering we already have two very good middle linebackers in both Devondre Campbell as well as Quay Walker, rookie. And then one guy as well who recently came in here to Green Bay is Micah Abernathy. He had an interception, which was a beautiful interception. Comes in, grabs it, his knee touches. And this was right after Vernon Scott unfortunately got injured. They were showing during a commercial break, they were showing Vernon Scott. And he looked like he was in lots and lots of pain, so I'm hoping that he's okay. I haven't seen exactly the information about his injury. I'm hoping he's fine. But Micah Abernathy came in there, replaced him, had a nice pick, and then I think there was a screenplay. They throw the little screen to the back, the Saints do, and Abernathy just flies in out of nowhere and makes a play. So he's coming in, making some nice plays after recently being added to the safety group here in Green Bay. And there are lots of injuries right now. The Packers are already dealing with at safety with Dallin Leavitt down, Ennis Gaines, Tariq Carpenter. So the safety room is getting thin, but Abernathy made the most of his time. And then looking at the Saints a little bit, this is a Packers channel, so I'm mainly focused on the Packers here. But Chris Olave, had a touchdown pass here. I think it's the only touchdown of the day for the Saints. He had 2 receptions for 28 yards. And the Packers on that play, it sort of looked like Tipo was in coverage / Sean Davis. I'm not exactly sure what was going on there on that play. But Olave gets open, touchdown, scores. And he's a very talented wide receiver. We saw him make some plays as well during these joint practices for the Saints. And then a couple other guys who really caught my eye tonight for the Packers was Keandre Thomas, cornerback who made lots of nice plays in the ball. They kept coming at him there at the end, and he held his ground and defended well. At corner, we have Danny Etling, who just out of nowhere has I think it was like a 51-yard touchdown run. It was while they were interviewing Aaron Rodgers, and Etling takes like a read option, cuts it to the outside. There's no one in front of him, and he just has speed that I feel like you wouldn't imagine looking at him, and he has insane speed. He runs, he beats everyone, and he scores a touchdown. So Danny Etling, very, very good with the ball in his hands. Maybe we should try him at running back. He looks honestly very good, especially with when he's running the ball. So Etling had 4 carries for 48 yards, only had 1 pass for 1 yard, or he was 1 for 1 with 0 yards. So he didn't really have much opportunity tonight because Jordan Love did get majority of the action. And then another guy, Kinsley Enagbare, JJ Enagbare, looked amazing. He just, when you watch him play out there, he had some nice plays last preseason game, but especially today as well. You can just see the motor he has, how hard he goes every single play. He never stops no matter what's going down in the play. He's going to be, I think, a very solid edge rusher the Packers can bring in behind Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. And I think the fact the Packers got him in round 5, I think he's going to really beat that sort of where he was drafted, and I think he really looks very, very solid. Chris Slayton as well, making some nice plays on the inside, as well as TJ Slaton and Jack Heflin as well. But those are the biggest takeaways I really had from tonight's game, and I'll be out with another video probably in the next few days covering some more things. But let me know your thoughts on what you saw tonight, what you liked, what you didn't like. If you haven't subscribed and you want to see more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys next time.